Hello students, today we are going to revise lesson number 1, the lost child, which has been taken from Moment book. Okay, we have two books. First is Beehive already we have revised all chapters which are coming in the first periodic, and now we are going to open this, we are going to read our next lesson of Moments. Okay, Moments is the second book of your class. Okay, so let's start with this chapter. Okay, a child goes to a fair with his parents. He is happy and excited and wants the sweets and toys displayed there, but his parents don't buy them for him. Why then does he refuse when someone else offers them to him? Okay, so actually in this story it is all about a child. First of all, he wanted to have all the kind of things which were displayed over there in the fair. But after some time, he started to refuse. So, what is the reason? First of all, he wanted, and the second thing, he started to refuse. So, what are the reasons that why he had refused at that time and why he was demanding all that kind of things, whatever he saw there? Okay, so let's read this chapter, means read and understand that what is what happened there. Okay, so it was the festival of spring. From the wintry shades of narrow lanes and alleys emerged a gaily clad humanity. Some walked, some rode on horses, others sat, being carried in bamboo and bullock carts. One little boy ran between his father's legs, brimming over with life and laughter. So this it was the time of spring, that you know very well that how many types of seasons are there. So it was spring season and it was the festival of spring. So on the occasion of spring there was a fair in his village. So all were just going to have a fun of fair. So some were just going by walk, some were going by horses, some were sitting over there, some were just carried by bamboo, and some were using bullock carts. So these are the resources. With the help of these resources they were going to fair. And when the people were going over there, so the alleys, means street was just filled with the people, and it was not a single people, it was a crowd who was just going to have a fun of fair. So there was a child also, a very small child who was also going there with his parents, and he was enjoying at that moment. He was just taking round of his parents because he was very happy because he was going to fair. Okay, come child, come, called his parents as he lagged behind, fascinated by the toys in the shops that lined the way. So when they were just going, so on the way, alongside of the road, there were so many shops. So one shop was there, that was toys. So you know very well that very small children, they always fond of have a toys. So he was also looking over there, and he was very fascinated with the toys, and because of that he was just behind his parents. So parents were just calling him, please child, come with us. Okay, he hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call, his eyes still lingering on the receding toys. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew the old cold stare of refusal in their eyes. Actually he was obedient. So when he was called by his parents, so he was just followed the steps of his parents, and but still his eyes were where? On the shop of toys, because child's desire, they always want to have a toys. They always, nowadays that you know very well that the small children, they are playing with the mobiles. They are not playing with the toys, they are playing with the mobiles. So he went over there as he came to where they had stopped to wait for him. So actually they were just waiting for him. Who were waiting for him? His parents. So he went over there, and then he could not suppress his desire. He wanted to share his desire, he wanted to share his thoughts, that what he wanted at that time, but he knew very well about his parents that a cold stare refusal means they will definitely deny to purchase for him. So because of that only, but he could not suppress his desire, and he said, what he said, that I want that toy. He pleaded and he requested, I want that toy. Please, father, mother, please purchase for me. His father looked at him red-eyed in his familiar tyrant's way. His mother, melted by the free spirit of the day, was tender and said, giving him her finger to hold, said, look child, what is before you. Actually, when he requested that, please father, purchase that toy for me. So at that time he stared, means he just looked him at red eye, means he angrily he looked him. He did not want to purchase. And what he said, he did not say anything, but his mother melted, because you know that mothers have a very pity heart in her heart. Okay, so her mother said, please come child, take my finger and just look over there, just look before you, that what is before you, just to see. It was flowering mustard filled, pale like melting gold, as it swept across miles and miles of evil land. Now she asked her son, please come and see that what is before you, see that what is there. This is a field, and this field is just filled with the mustard field, and everywhere greenery and yellow flowers. It's a very beautiful scene it was there. If you go any mustard field, so you can also have a very good experience there. So her mother offered. A group of dragonflies were bustling about on their gaudy purple wings, intercepting the flight of a lone black bee or butterfly in search of sweetness from the flowers. And now what he could see over there, he could see that a group of dragonflies, means different types of flies, he could see that a group of dragonflies and purple wings, means now he described about that a group of dragonflies, how they were looking. It was looking that their wings were purple and intercepting the flight of a lone black bee, and black bee was also there, or butterfly in search of sweetness from the flowers. Means in the field he could see different types of butterflies, he could see bees, black bees also, he could see what? Dragonflies also, a group of dragonflies and butterflies who were just searching for what? Sweetness from flowers. The child followed them in the air with his gaze, till one of them would still its wings and rest, and he would try to catch it, but it would go flapping up into the air when he had almost caught it in his hands. Then his mother gave a cautionary call, come child, come onto the footpath. So when he saw there that some flies were flying over there, over the flowers, so a kind of what? See, but it would go fluttering, means he just saw a butterfly and he wanted to catch, and almost he was very near to catch the butterfly, but he could not catch. But he was just searching, he was just chasing that butterfly, but he was unable to catch that. So at the same time his mother called him, please come child, and we are on the footpath, so please come to the footpath. Okay. He ran towards his parents gaily and walked abreast of them for a while, being, however, soon left behind, attracted by the little insects and worms along the footpath that were teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. So when he was called out by his mother, so he went over there, he went to the footpath, and there he could see that a very small different types of insects, that is earthworm, we can say that he could see that there, and they just came out of the earth and they wanted to have a sunshine. They wanted to have a sunshine, they wanted to enjoy the sunshine. So because of that, they were just hiding over there. So they just came from hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. Okay, and he was attracted by that little insects which was over there. So again, come child come, his parents called from the shade of grove where they had seated themselves on the edge of a well. He ran towards them. Means here the child was very happy, and he was just taking round of all that things. He was just enjoying that moment. So at that time he saw the insects, and after that he was again called by his parents, and the parents were sitting where? Grove where they had seated themselves on the edge of a well. Means they were just seated at the edge of the well, and again he was called out there, and again he just ran towards them. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove, and forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petals in his hands. But lo, he heard the cooing of doves and ran towards his parents, shouting, "The dove, the dove!" The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands. So when he entered the shadow of the grove, so he was welcomed. He was welcomed by what? The flowers of the petals of what? When he entered the grove, he forgot his parents because he began to gather. Means the shower of young flowers fell upon. Means when he entered there in the shadow of the grove tree, so he was welcomed by a young shower flowers, and he forgot that he was with his parents. What he started to do? He started to collecting all the petals, all the flowers which were just falling over there. Okay, so he was just collecting all that things. He forgot that he was with his parents. Okay, and then when he was collecting, so at the same time he just dropped the flowers, and he started shouting what? He saw the dove. It is a kind of bird. He started to his parents, "See the dove, the dove, the dove." The dove, the raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands. Means he just forgot that whatever he had in his hand, he forgot it, and he started reading where? He started to shout, and the petals, whatever he collected, it was just raining. Means he just dropped it out. "Come child come," they called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers round the banyan tree, and gathering him up, they took the narrow winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard field. Again they called. Means his parents called him, "Please come fast," who had now gone running in wild capers round in the banyan tree. Means now it is describing, the writer is describing about that the way that how they were going to the fair to have a fun. As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs, conversing to the whirlpool of the fair, and felt at once repaired and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. Actually, you know what? When he was very near to the village where the fair was held, so he was very happy because now he was going to enter in a new world. For him, it was new world because it was the first time for that he was going to enter, he was going to have fun. So it was very new thing for him. So because of that, he was very fascinated by the things which were just around him. Okay. Then what he saw, the first thing, a sweet meat seller hawked gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi at the corner of the entrance, and a crowd pressed around his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets decorated with leaves of silver and gold. I think you already have visited so many fairs like Gorakhnath, and there you already have seen different types of sweet shop, and there it is decorated a step, again second step, like that it is just decorated. So it was decorated with the sweets, and in on the each steps it was decorated with the different types of sweets, and the sweet seller was shouting, means honking, and what he was shouting, gulab jamun, means he was selling gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi and jalebi, and it starts where it was situated at the corner of the road. Okay, entrance means where the entrance gate was there. So at the same place this shop was situated. So he was shouting, come, come, and it was decorated with the silver and gold. Means already I think you can imagine that you are in the fair, and in the fair you can see different types of sweet which was just covered with the sweet silver and gold, and it was decorated in different places also. The child stared open eyed and his mouth watered for the barfi. That was his favorite sweet. I want that barfi, he slowly murmured, but he half knew as he begged that his plea would not be heeded because his parents would say he was greedy. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. Actually, when he moved there, so what he saw that so many, means different types of sweet was there, but his favorite sweet was barfi. So he wanted, but he knew very well about his parents that his parents will definitely deny to purchase for him. So without getting an answer, but he murmured at that time, I want that barfi, I want, miss. When he stared that so different types of sweets, so his mouth was just covered with what? His mouth was filled with the water, means he wanted to have that all sweets, but he knew very well about his parents that his parents will deny to purchase. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. A flower seller hawked a garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar. The child seemed irresistibly drawn. He went towards the basket where the flowers lay heaped and half murmured, I want that garland. But he well knew his parents would refuse to buy him those flowers because they would say that they were cheap. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. Again, the second thing what he saw in that fair, that flower seller hogged garland. Means he wanted to have that garland. When he heard that flower seller was shouting, a gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar. So he wanted to have this, a garland of gulmohar. But what happened? He murmured, very slowly he murmured that I want that garland of gulmohar. But he knew very well about his parents, that his parents will refuse to purchase for him. And what his parents will say? His parents will say that what is cheap thing that you are demanding. So without waiting for an answer, he just moved on from there. A man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green and purple balloons flying from it. The child was simply carried away by the rainbow glory of their silken colors, and he was filled with an overwhelming desire to possess them all. But he well knew his parents would never buy him the balloons because they would say he was too old to play with such toys. So he walked on further. The third thing that he saw there in that fair, that a man was standing with a pole, and on that pole different colors of balloons were there. He wanted to possess all of balloons. He wanted all rainbow balloons with him. So he murmured, I want all that. But he knew very well about his parents that definitely they will refuse, they will never purchase for him, they will never purchase, and they will say what? It is too old to play, don't purchase. So without waiting an answer, he just moved on further. A snake charmer stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket, its head raised in a graceful bend like the neck of swan. while the music stole into the invisible ears like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall. The child went towards the snake charmer, but knowing his parents had forbidden him to hear such coarse music as the snake charmer played, he proceeded farther. And after that, the fourth thing that he saw there, that a snake charmer was stood there and who was playing flute, okay, and a snake was dancing, and you know well that they doesn't have ears. So it is mentioned that with the help of invisible ears, the snake was listening the sound, listening the music, and it was just moving its head and it was dancing, and he stood over there. He wanted to have a look of that thing, but what he thought at that time, that his father would, means his parents will deny to listen all that things. So without waiting for any answer, without waiting for anything, he just moved further. Now, there was a roundabout in full swing. Men, women and children, carried away in a whirling motion, shrieked and cried with dizzy laughter. The child watched them intently, and then he made a bold request. I want to go on the roundabout, please, father, mother. The next thing that he saw there, that was roundabout. It is a kind of swing, and there the person, the men, women and children, they all were having fun. They all were shouting, they all were shrieking with the what? With that swing, they were having fun. So at that moment he could not stop himself, and he raised his voice and he said that what he said, I want to go on the roundabout, please father, please mother. But what happened at that moment, we will come to know in the next video. Okay, thank you.